Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kubernetes series. So in this series so far we have discussed the Kubernetes introduction, we have discussed how the Kubernetes works, what is this architecture, and what are the main components of the master node and the worker node, right? Apart from that, we have started with the basic object, which is a pod. What is pod? How you can deploy with the cutl command, or maybe if you need to define with the definition YAML file, that also we have seen, right? So in this video, we'll talk about the deployments, right? So deployment is one of the most powerful objects in Kubernetes that helps us run and manage application at scale, right? Because it is the feature of your to upgrade the underlying instances or pod, right? In a very controlled manner. But let me give you a little bit brief about the deployment before we reach to this as a like how we can control it, right? So this is our notepad file, right? So what deployment is, right? So deployment in Kubernetes is a very high level controller, right? That we have already discussed, right? Because it is managing the pods and replica set for you, right? That is the main purpose of the deployment, right? Because instead of creating the pods manually, right, what you can do, you can define a deployment, and deployment will take care of your right number of pods, right? Like whatever that the desired state and the current state, right? And if any pod dies, right, then it will spin up a new pod, right? That's what we have already seen, right? Now you will question, Amit, the same thing we are achieving with the replica set as well, right? Because with the replica set also what we are doing is we are saying that okay, we need to have a, let's say, a 5 replica of my pods is running, right? If any of the reason, if one particular pod is crashed, right, or if it is dies, what happened, that replica set will spin up a new pod, right? So what is the difference between the replica set and deployment, right? That is why here it comes in the in a very controlled manner, right? Why? Because you can easily update your application, right? With deployment, if I talk about easy update to application, right? That's what we can do, right? Without any downtime. Let me write down because this is very important, without any downtime, because it is using a default strategy called rolling update. Like this we will discuss in there are few more strategies for the updating your application, right? Like the underlying pod or instance, whatever you are running, right? But by default it is doing a rolling update, right? So what exactly it is rolling update is, let's say you have that 3 replica running, right? 3 replica of running application with version 1, right? Now you have decided to upgrade your application to version 2, right? And you want the 3 replica one. So what it will do is it will replace, let's say this is the one, right? And it is running with the v1. So what it will do is it will first deploy here, right? And then it will deploy here, it will deploy here, and it is v2. The moment it is deployed, the fourth instant, the one will be deleted, right? Then fifth one will be deleted, sixth. So at a given point of time, we have 3 replica running, and now it is running with the version 2, right? So that is something that rolling update. But no worries, we will discuss in more depth, right? When we start our this rolling update and the canary deployment, blue green strategy, all these we will discuss in further video, right? But today's topic is just to understand what is the deployment, right? So let me come back to this definition, right? It is a feature to upgrade the underlying instance or pod in a controlled manner. Why I would say, why I'm saying it is a controlled manner, right? Because by default it is using a rolling update to upgrade the application or pods running, where we can control the update, we can roll back, we can pause, we can resume the changes update, right? Why? Because when we say that you can easily update to your application without any downtime. Let's say there is something happened to version 2, right? There is something not working good, whatever we expected, it is not working, right? So with the deployment, you have the liberty to roll back your application again to the v1, which was not there with the replica set, because replica set were giving the assurity only to run a particular number of ports, right? Whatever you want. Only those number of ports you can run with the replica set. But with the deployment, you have your control on your rolling update, right? You can update your uh, application. You can roll back if something goes wrong. You can pause, right? You can resume the changes update, right? So it's up to you, like how you want to proceed, right? So that is why that it is in very controlled manner. You can update your instances, right? Deployment is the topmost layer in the hierarchy, right? Obviously, because it is starting from the container, then container is wrapped up with the pod, and pod is managed by the replica set, and again the replica set is managed by the deployment. Why? Because when you deploy any application, oh sorry, deployment, right, using deployment any application, if you do, what it will do at the end, it will gonna deploy a replica set, right? Because that is the reason replica set is maintaining your copies, right? And in that copies, obviously we have the pod and the container, and inside the container you have that running image of your application. So that is why that it is said that deployment is the topmost layer in this hierarchy, right? We can use the same YAML file, whatever we have done for the replica set, right? And yeah, what is it is trying to say is, let's say if we have this replica set, right? So here you can see that we have almost same, right? Let me do one thing, not this one. Hmm, okay, here it is. And I will open here, not pod repli here it is pod replica, and here it is the pod deployment. Yeah, now we are good, right? So what I'm trying to say is this is the replica set of kind, right, which we have already done, and this is the deployment, right? So here you can see there is no much difference, only the kind is the deployment, right? Here it is apps v1 that comes from the same family. Kind is deployment. Here it is replica set. It is the name of that particular deployment. It is the name of the replica set, right? The label where it gonna manage, it is gonna manage the container or the pod or the thing which has the label called Nginx Web 3, right? It is deploying 3 replica, same selector again, that Nginx Web 3, and under the template, obviously we need to put a metadata about the additional detail of the pod where we are putting the label called Nginx Web 3, and under the spec field we need to put the container specification. So here I'm running a web3 using this image, and this is the container, right? So that's how that this pod deployment looks like, right? So here you can see how it is being defined and the thing it is doing. All right, so let me go back to our master node and we will see in action now. So this is our master node, right? Okay, so I'm on my master node, and here you can see we have that both master node and worker node is up and running, right? We have our directory already cloned here. I will go to labs, and here we have the same file which we talk about, that pod deployment. Okay, so this is the pod deployment which we have already seen. Now let me deploy this. So to apply this, we have command called kubectl create, and we can specify our file, right? So now it is get created. To list, same kubectl, what is the operation you want to do here? I want to do a get against which resource. I want to do it as deployment, right? So here you can see I have two of three is ready, right? Two is available, and probably it will come up in a second, right? So now you can see we have all three out of three is running. If I say get all, so here you can see it has deployed a 3 web. Why? Because we have specified 3 replica. Fine. It has created one deployment. Obviously, the deployment we created, right? So obviously it will gonna create one deployment. But here you can see with the deployment, it has created a something called replica set as well, which we talked about, right? Because if I see kubectl get pod, right? Let's say if I'm gonna delete that one of the pod, let's say I'm deleting this pod, right? It's deleted. Let's list one more time, and so you can see that again it is getting created this, right? Why? Because of this replica set, if I say kubectl get rs, so you can see we are saying we have the three desired state and the current is running already 3, right? And this is the deployment, right? So here you can see this is the deployment, and under deployment we have seen all these things, right? So that is the reason, like, well, like we deploy it to with this, right? And same thing, if you want to scale it, right, you want to scale it, so what you can do, same thing, kubectl scale. What you want to scale? I want to scale a deployment. Which deployment? I want to deployment this one. And how many? You need to define that replica equal to, let's say, 5, right? Now if I say, it is saying 5, right? And if I say to pods, so now we have 5 pod is running, right? Now if I go back to this, let's say I want all are running, right? Now let's say I want 3 only, so two pods will be terminated, right? You can see that it has terminated these 2 pod which recently deployed, right? So that is the reason, like, it is doing, right? And again, if you want to expose it, right? So let's say if I want to expose it, kubectl get expose. What I want to expose? I want to expose my deployment. What is the name of my deployment? It is web3-dep. What is the type of service I want to use? Because in next video we will gonna discuss the service, right? But as of now, let's understand we are discussing the node port because that's what we have discussed so far, right? And on which target port? Target port is nothing, the final port where our application is running, right? So let's see. And if I say kubectl get svc, so here you can see it is deployed. And what is the IP of my node? My node IP is 120, now this one 27, okay? And it is 31048, okay? Let's come to this 31028, I think, right? Let me see one more time. 31048, okay. So here you can see my application is up and running, right? Now I talked about that you can easily do it with your stuff, right? Let me do one thing. Uh, Welcome will not work. So what I will do is 31480. 31048, okay. 048. Yeah, same thing we are getting here all also, right? So now what we will do is, mm, okay, let's do one thing. Let's put it in because I just want to show you one thing, okay? While true, okay, do I would say curl hyphen s. Let me copy this stuff and I will paste it again, right? And done. So it is keep on running. You can see that it is coming from this, right? But what we will do is, let me cancel this. We will say sleep 2 seconds, okay? Now it will print that output in every 2 seconds, okay? That continue we can see, right? But as of now, this is a custom image, right? That which we are running, right? It is coming from different ports and IP, right? It's keep on running. You can keep an eye on your below, right? Just to see what is happening. So what I am doing is I'm gonna update my deployment with a different image, right? So this strategy we will discuss further, right? But as of now, just to show you that it is kind of a without downtime, right? So I want to set a new image for my deployment called web3-dep, okay? and here it is the image, right? Let's say nginx colon 1.22, let's say that is what we want to do. There is typo. Okay, let me finish this. deployment. Okay. Okay, it is the container name, not image. Fine. Container name is web3, I think, but let me see. Yes, it is web3. Okay. So now it's done, right? It's updated, and you can see kubectl get pods. So one new pod is getting created, right? Because backend it will see as of now you can see that it's still it is running, right? The previous command. Here you can see the pod is still getting created. So we'll see how long it will take for the that image, right? Might be I think I'm using a correct image, and then we'll see how gonna update that stuff. Okay, I think there is something wrong with the image. Okay, it's running, right? So now just keep eye here on this. I just update right now. You can see that it is changed to the version 2, right? It's keep on running, right? Still it is coming from the different because it is still creating that one is created, the other one is terminated. The first one is created, other one is terminated. The second one is created, the other one is terminated. Now you can see that we have that new image is running, right? Now if I cancel it and I will go again to the pods, so here you can see I have three pods running, right? So that's how that you can see, right? And how you can see, I think it is kubectl rollout history deployment. So here you can see, right, the change course is just to mention that any message what you are doing, right, that we will see later on. But now I want to undo my, right, I don't like this page, right, this application is having some bug, right, I want to roll back it, right. So how you can roll back is simple kubectl rollout undo deployment, and what is the name of the deployment? It was web3-dep, right? Now if you see again that pods, right, what it will do is it will gonna create a new container, right, and terminate the previous one, right? And we have that another again that you can see that now we are getting the same page, right? The new connection will go to our this one, right? You can see path for cloud and it is coming, right? So that's how that you can give your control to your now we have completely rolled back to our previous version 1, right? Because you can see as of now I have only three pods running, right? And that pod is still pointing to this path for cloud only, right? So that is the reason like we are recommended to use this deployment instead of replica set, right? Because here we have the complete control over the what over our deployment, right? We can change our strategy how we want to do it. We can change our mm, rollback if something goes wrong, right? If let's say if I want to describe my deployment which is web3-dep. So here let me make it bigger. So here you can see the strategy type is rolling update, which is a default, right? I was talking about all this. So you can see this is the label it is using, this is the annotation, and this is the selector which we are using. This is coming from our right, and this is the rolling update strategy. You can see 25% max and 25%. So what it is saying is like as of now, let's say you have that four, three, right? But let's say if you have four, so what it will do is will bring it will spin up one new pod and will bring up one old pod, right? That way it will work, right? That is the image, and then this is the condition, and this is the events which is happening across. So you can say that scaled, we have scaled down and everything, right? This is what that we have discussed already. And the rollout history and the rolling update we have already seen, but we will discuss further in the our rolling strategy. But as of now, that is the deployment, which is the most uh, higher layer in the hierarchy of this entire stuff, like container, pod, replica set, and deployment. All right. So that's it from this topic. In next video, we will discuss the services, right? Like what services is, what are the type of services, and what is the purpose of those services, how we can use it, right? So as of now, I will take a leave and we will meet you in the next video. Okay, so that was the deployment, which manages the ports and replica set, which gives you a kind of scalability, high self-healing, rolling update, rollback, and everything, right? So we'll connect this deployment to the outside world using a service, right? As of now, we have already seen, right? But what if we want to use a cluster IP, right? Not the node port, right? What if we want to use a load balancer, then what, right? So we'll see all this stuff in the next video. All right. Thank you guys. Please do share with this others and so that everybody will get to know what deployment is and how powerful it is. I will make you the next. Thank you. Bye bye.